heartbeat matters. Every second counts. And when it comes to health, my dear friends, every single decision that you take can change your life forever. That is why we are here to talk about stuff that can change your life. I'm Sonalee Kulkarni. Welcome to the Ruby Hall Clinics podcast, where I'm going to try and bring you closer to the people who dedicate their lives to make sure that your lives are healthy. I'm talking about the doctors. So I'm here at the Ruby Hall Clinic, where we are going to talk every week to a specialist, to a medical expert mind that can give you insights over everyday wellness tips or exceptional technology changes or medical surgeries, everything to do with our health. Are you all ready? Well, I am ready because we are starting today with the most important person, the managing trustee, the senior cardiologist at the Ruby Hall Clinic, Dr. Parvez Grant, who's had an experience of more than 50 years to say. We're going to talk to him about some very important topics when it comes to technology in healthcare. Well, before we begin talking to him, I want to tell you what we're going to do here. We're going to talk about a lot of medical myths that we usually have, a lot of topics that we usually discuss. हम घर में सारे ही डॉक्टर बन जाते हैं, but we forget to go to the experts. And there are so many things. But what is important is, the topic of our podcast is, where you go first matters. And that is why this is my first podcast, and it matters to me because I'm in Pune, I'm a Puneite, and the most important leading hospital in Pune for the over 65 years is Ruby Hall Clinic, and hence my first podcast series about healthcare had to be with Ruby Hall. So where you go first matters. The first episode matters, the first person that we're sitting with matters, and we have Dr. Parvez Grant here. Like I said, doctor, welcome to the show. So when you began your career in healthcare, like I said, more than 50 years it must have been, what are the changes? What is the technology advancement that you have seen in your personal experience?
Thank you, Sonalee, for coming to Ruby Hall Clinic. Of course, we are now nearly 70 years old since Ruby Hall Clinic started. It was started by my father. It started as a 2-bed hospital, and from 2-bed we have now grown to 900 beds.
Wow.
Yes, what has changed? A lot has changed.
I'm sure.
When I was in medical school, medical college, I came out of Armed Forces Medical College. Then I did my MD from BJ Medical College, Sassoon Hospital. And then after that, I went to England for training. After spending 10, 12 years in England for training, I returned to Pune. That time when I returned, Ruby Hall had gone from 2 beds to something like 90 beds.
Oh.
And today we are 900 beds. Yeah, what has changed? A lot has changed. When I was in medical school and college, there was nothing like CT scan, MRIs, nothing. There was only the stethoscope.
Right.
And the stethoscope was our main instrument. That was important because the stethoscope taught us a lot of things to be independent on your own. You had to have clinical judgment.
Mm-hmm.
You need to listen to murmurs of the heart.
Right.
You need to do percussion. You need to do things that we never do today. That's also not good, because a good doctor should be first be able to take a good history.
Right.
Once you take a good history, you should be able to listen to the patient's problems, talk to him carefully, and get information out of him. What exactly is wrong with him and why has he come to you?
Right.
So once you have assessed that, then you do a full history of his family.
Mm-hmm.
Does he have heart problems? Does the family have diabetes? Does the family have blood pressure? Does the family have any other? So take a good detailed history of the family. And finally, you take the stethoscope, put it on his chest, and find out whether he's got anything wrong with his heart or lung. Remember, before that, you should also check simple things like take the pulse.
Yeah.
Take the pulse of the patient, because I still remember Dr. Koyaji, who used to work many, many years ago. All he did was examine the patient, took the pulse, and used to give the medicine. So that is all changed now. So history has changed completely from being a doctor using stethoscope to the new technologies that we have today. Now today, if you have somebody, I still remember my father, when we first started his practice, that means going back now 70 years ago,
Yeah.
there was not even an X-ray machine.
Wow.
There was a small machine which started off called a screening machine. So what they used to do, they used to take the patient, put him in front of a screen which was like an X-ray, but they couldn't take pictures, and they used to screen the person.
Okay.
And when they screened the person, if they found there was a dot of TB over there, then they suspected TB and started the treatment. So that is the history of radiology. There was no X-ray machines. Then in 1957, my father bought the first X-ray machine. And the first X-ray machine that was bought for some 20,000 rupees. That also for a bank loan, with a bank loan. So that is how X-rays first came to the city of Pune. And my father had the only X-ray machine.
Okay.
So he started taking X-rays, and that's how radiology developed in the city of Pune. Then from the X-ray machine that came up, we started wondering what to do next. And we then decided that we needed to do something even better. That time there was no intensive care unit. So then Ruby Hall set up the first intensive care unit with Dr. Gulati and my dad.
Okay.
So that is how the CCU came into practice, how history came. Then once that was established, they said, okay, now let us do something better, let's do something more important. So they finally, my father decided to put a CT scan machine. So the first CT scan machine came to the city of Pune, and everyone started referring for CT scan. And we were started getting better picture quality. That was a one-cycle CT scan. So it was very a crude machine.
Okay.
You could see things, but not clearly.
Okay.
But that is what started off. The CT scan went on for 5 to 10 years. And then I'm going to talk about the development of the CT scan because it's very interesting. So the first CT scan came, and then after about 5 years, remember that used to take one cycle per minute. That evolved into 40 cycles per minute, and then it evolved and evolved and evolved. And 6 months ago, Ruby Hall has established the fastest CT scan in Asia. That takes 1,111 cycles per minute. So it can do a full body cardiac scanning in 2 or 3 seconds.
That's amazing.
So because of that, that new technology, as you've seen it developing over the years, you can now find that since this is the first machine in Asia, I'm very proud to say today that we are doing 2,000 cases a month on this machine, and patients from all over the world are coming to Ruby Hall Clinic, Pune, for this machine. The other day, 10 patients flew down from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia for this machine.
Oh.
The fourth biggest builder of Dubai, Danube Builders, also came down and got his CT scan from Dubai.
Oh.
Every day we get 3 to 4 patients from Dubai, 10 patients from Bombay, patients from Delhi, Calcutta, Singapore. One patient came from Canada.
Oh my God.
So you can see how I've only talked about one modality so far.
Right.
But this is Ruby Hall. Why is Ruby Hall successful? Ruby Hall is successful today because of the technology that we have. We are always first in everything that we do. We are pioneers in every part of medicine. That is most important. I'm now going to talk about another modality called the MRI, Magnetic Resonance Imaging System. Now, the first MRI came and was installed in Ruby Hall Clinic in the year 1988. 1988. It was a 0.5 Tesla. That means the magnetic strength was 0.5.
Okay.
Now, this machine came from Japan. It was come from a company called Shimatsu. I went to Japan, saw the machine, I liked it, I brought it back. And we bought it for 5 crores. And after 10 years of using the machine, we sold it for 25,000 rupees, only the cost of the metal. Because technology changed.
Absolutely.
In 10 years, everything is
Absolutely.
finished and the new technology comes in. So you have to.
Yeah.
So Ruby Hall also went from 0.5 Tesla to 1 Tesla, then to 1.5, and finally to 3 Tesla. So now we have the latest 3 Tesla machine. But we have the 3 Tesla machine with the compact software that came in only 6 months ago in the world, and we were the first to get it again.
I'm sure.
From Philips Medical Systems. Now, what does this compression software do? This compression software, what it does, it compresses the MRI so that instead of 40 minutes, you can do the same sequence in 5 minutes. So again, patients, nobody wants to be in a machine for 45 minutes.
I know, yeah.
So everybody now started coming to Ruby Hall again because we are doing it in 5 minutes rather than in 45 minutes in the old technology. And you must remember that lying in a machine for 45 minutes with a loud noise is not good.
And you can't move.
And you cannot move. You're right. So again, technology has changed, and Ruby Hall again has pioneered and got this new technology. Again, we are the first in India to have this technology. So that is the second new thing I just spoke about. So you can see how medicine has evolved over a period of time. Next, I'm going to talk about a little bit about cardiology, heart.
Yes.
Because basically, this is another area where Ruby Hall has pioneered cardiology. The first angioplasty in India was done in 1987, late 87, December 87, by a gentleman called David Cumberland and myself. And this was done at Ruby Hall Clinic. That time, I conducted the first workshop in angioplasty. And this was cardiologists from all over India came to watch the performance.
Oh.
We did 10 angioplasties that time. And I remember that time we did not have balloons, we didn't have stents, we didn't have anything. So my colleague, Dr. Cumberland, had to bring everything from England. We brought it down and we conducted the first workshop. That was quite successful. And since then, Ruby Hall has done more than 150,000 angioplasties.
Oh my.
So we are one of the leading hospitals in India as far as angioplasty. We have developed a lot of new techniques in angioplasty. And I can easily boast that we are within the top 3 in the country today in cardiology, in angiography, angioplasty, and new techniques.
Yeah.
At Ruby Hall, we started with 1 cath lab, the main hospital. Today, we are running 8 cath labs, 4 in the main hospital and 4 in the other peripheral hospitals like Vanauri, Hinjewadi, and even we have set up one in Shirur now.
Okay.
So we are running 8 angiography units all over Maharashtra, making us within the top 3 in the country.
Wow.
Not only have we evolved in this type of technology, but we have also, you must remember, Ruby Hall has been one of the biggest hospitals as far as cancer treatment is concerned.
Of course,
so
yes.
this is very important. The first cancer machine that was bought in Maharashtra was done at Ruby Hall. I'm not talking about Tata Memorial. It's a government hospital.
Yeah.
So we started in 1965, where we bought the first cobalt machine.
Oh.
That time there were no linear accelerators. So cobalt was a very radioactive stuff that was used in treating patients who had cancer. So we had to make a bunker, and in the bunker we installed the cobalt machine. The cobalt machine lasted for nearly 15 to 20 years because that produces radiation. But the problem with these cobalt machines is when the technology gets obsolete,
Yeah.
what do you do with the cobalt?
Yeah.
Because it keeps radiating. So you have to try to bury it deep under the ground after you finish. So we have to find a source after this machine technology got over where to put it.
I know.
So we finally found somebody to take it away, and I don't know what he did with the cobalt, but it is radiation. So you have to be very careful. So from the radiation came the linear accelerators. So we then developed the linear accelerators where we are radiating these people for treating cancer and giving very good results. Today we are treating 200 patients on the linear accelerator, treating them for various types of cancer. That's 200 patients per day. So we are one of the largest cancer centers in the whole of India in the private sector. Then we got a donation from the Bajaj Group, where we got a large donation, and we have put the cyber knife. The cyber knife is a special machine which is used for treating very specific type of cancers.
Okay.
Where the linear accelerator cannot treat. So that machine is nearly 45 crores, but Ruby Hall managed to get a donation. That's why we set up the cyber knife at Ruby Hall. And I'm pleased to say that yesterday we did the first 500 patients in 1 year.
Oh.
So you can see how technology has developed over a period of time. And this is not only in this particular field.
Yeah.
But there are various other fields also where technology has really improved the lifestyle and life standards of people.
Absolutely.
Take transplantation.
Yeah.
Now, it is actually very interesting because my father had a forethought. He said, Parvez, the future of Ruby Hall should be transplantation before he died. And initially, nobody thought that he would be true, but today I can clearly boast that what my father, Dr. K.B. Grant, said is true. In the last 1 year, we have completed 100 liver transplants at Ruby Hall, making us within the top 3 liver transplant centers in the whole of India.
Wow.
So I'm very proud of the liver team. I'm also very proud of the heart transplant team. They have completed 40 heart transplants at Ruby Hall Clinic.
Yeah.
I'm also happy that the kidney transplants have done more than 3,000 kidney transplants, and we've been doing it for the last 30 years.
Wow.
We've also done a lot of corneal transplants and a number of bone marrow transplants. So you can see how technology has slowly over a period of 50, 60 years evolved. And medicine, how it has changed from the days of the simple stethoscope to the technology that we have today.
Absolutely.
Now, Ruby Hall is again looking at lots of new technologies that have come in. The other day, I'm very happy to announce that we have a new technology that is now come as far as prostatic surgery is concerned.
Yes.
So we have a new machine. I can't remember the name of the machine, but it is installed 2 to 3 months ago. It was donated by the Firodia group, where when you have prostatic enlargement, and all men above 60 have some prostate problem or other, you just put this catheter into the prostate area. You keep it there for 15 minutes, and then the catheter remains for about 1 week, taken out, and the patient can get free flow of urine without surgery. The
Wow.
main thing is there is no cutting. Now, why is this important? It's very important because some people have stents, some people have blood thinners,
Yeah.
and these people cannot be treated with a normal prostate operation where you have to cut
Yeah.
and it bleeds. So here there is no bleeding at all.
That's
So you see how
amazing.
technology has evolved over a period of time. So this new technology is also now available to Ruby Hall Clinic, as you can see.
You've kind
So
of
in various-
summarized. You've kind of summarized pretty much everything that has happened in the last 50 years in terms of technology
Yes.
in healthcare. But doctor, what is the current situation? What are the challenges that you think hospitals are facing today after so many advancements?
See, it is very easy to make a hospital, but very difficult to run it. What is a hospital basically? Now, my concept of hospital has changed.
Mhm.
A hospital is a very fancy hotel with 30, 40 departments attached to it and all functioning together.
I
That
get
is what a modern hospital should be. So it's like a hotel,
like a 4-star,
like a
5-star.
five-star hotel with 30 other departments. Like a hotel has a 3 or 4 restaurants. Similarly, a hospital has 30, 40 departments. Most important departments are number one, the laboratory.
Yeah.
The laboratory is the engine of a hospital, remember. So, we decided to have the best laboratory in the whole of India. And today, if you come and see the Ruby Hall laboratory, there is no hospital in India that has a better laboratory. We do some 2,000 tests in every 2 hours on this lab, 2,000 tests. It works on a conveyor belt system. People from Dubai and various countries are coming to see the lab, and you're most welcome to go and see this lab. Everything works on a belt system. It's all tagged. There is no human touch. So the sample goes from one end, comes out, the report is printed out. You must come and see the lab technology.
Surely.
You must come and see the radiology department. Now, we also have in Ruby Hall 20 different locations outside Ruby Hall. These are all diagnostic centers, all with MR and CT scans, like Satara, Karad, Ahmednagar, and various areas around Pune. And these are all attached to the main Ruby Hall center. So we do what is called as tele-reporting.
Okay.
There is no radiologist actually sitting there. There is a radiologist sitting there, but in addition to that, there is a double check which is done from main Ruby Hall.
Okay.
So as soon as an MRI is done, say in Satara, within a few seconds the MRI comes on the screen in Ruby Hall. The radiologist here checks it, gives a report. The report is counter-checked by a Satara radiologist and the report is given out. Now, what is the advantage of this? The advantage of this is that, number one, within an hour, the person gets a report.
Yeah.
This is important because it's not only Satara. From Satara, people come from radius of 100 kilometers to get their MRI done. They don't want to wait in Satara. They want the report immediately and given. So we do this. It is accurate reporting. And then if the patient wants to come to main Ruby Hall from, say, Satara, he can come with that MRI and then process things further in the main hospital.
Yes.
So this is something that is very, very important.
You're talking about advantages. What are the challenges?
The challenges is very simple and very important because in this peripheral unit, to run a MRI and a CT scan is not easy.
Right.
Number one, electricity is bad. Number two, it's very difficult to set it up. For if something breaks down, then everything has to go from Pune to that particular peripheral area
I mean, not
to run
particularly
these areas.
peripheral area. I wanted to know in general, doctor, what do you think are the biggest challenges in hospitals today?
See, as I told you before, it is very difficult to manage a hospital. Now, as far as hospitals are concerned, you need very good management.
Right.
So, you need to get professionals who can manage these hospitals. In the past, what used to happen, a doctor used to set up a hospital and he used to try to manage it. He used to manage the finances, he used to manage the staff, he used to manage the nursing, he had to do
was run by
everything.
one person.
But now things have changed completely. This professional management has come into hospitals. And unless you have professional management, a large hospital like Ruby Hall with so many other subsidiary units cannot run.
Right.
So professional management is the most important thing as far as a hospital goes.
Right.
The second is a hospital should be able to have enough finances available to it to get the best equipment. And that is not easy because what happens, the life of this equipment is mostly 5 to 7 years. After that, it is obsolete.
Expiry.
And once it's obsolete, you have to again change it. So that is another area where you need to have very good financing. Third area is very important as far as hospital is concerned is nursing.
Yeah.
So a hospital should be always attached to a good nursing school or college. And this is what we insisted on right from the beginning at Ruby Hall. We have our own nursing school. We have our own nursing college where we train our nurses to maintain that standard. And next, very important is IT, information technology. Because you see, a hospital now must go completely paperless. The days of a hospital where you write everything by hand, where you prescribe drugs by hand, where you do all these things is gone.
Absolutely.
So Ruby has now completely gone paperless. And this process started about 3 to 6 months ago. It's a long process because to change from, it's a huge database. The other thing is medical records. Medical records have to be perfect because nowadays what has happened, litigation is coming in to a large extent. And because of that, your recording system must be absolutely perfect.
Right.
But this is another area where we try our best to make sure that everything is done perfectly, correctly, so that this doesn't go wrong.
Right.
The other challenges which we face as a hospital is that what happens is we have a patient getting admitted, say, for a head injury. After the head injury, we treat the head injury. Unfortunately, the patient is stuck on a ventilator.
Yeah.
And we can't get him off the ventilator. It can go on for 3 months, 6 months. After 1 or 2 months, the patient runs out of money.
Yeah.
What happens to the patient? How does the hospital manage to keep this particular patient alive? Because if a patient is on a ventilator, then you need oxygen, you need drugs, you need ventilators, you need medicine. The bill can easily go to 30, 40, 50,000 a day. And how does a hospital manage to, because technically you cannot switch the ventilator off. This man is on a breathing machine.
Yes.
So a hospital then needs some method of getting funds to keep these people alive till they recover completely. And that is another area where it's a big challenge for us.
Right.
So this is only one example. Like this, there are many other areas where it's a big challenge. What to do, how to do.
How can you still support keeping your
And we have to
finances alive?
look at both sides of the...
And balance it. Yes.
We also do a lot of charity work.
Yeah.
Ruby Hall does about 30 crore charity every year for poor patients, especially children who need cardiac surgery. We also do a lot of work as far as children goes. All child below the age of 16 who have cancer, are treated completely free at Ruby Hall Clinic.
That's amazing.
As far as possible.
That's amazing.
Provided they are poor. I mean, we don't want
sure.
everybody to come, but
charity also does not come.
It has to come from the poor people.
Right.
So we are doing this also. They get even linear accelerator treatment is given free.
Yeah.
Cyber knife is given free of charge.
Yes.
So this sort of thing, we are doing a lot of charity work to help the poor people.
Right. Like you were mentioning cyber knife and other kind of technological advancements, we also want to know more about robotics. So how has robotics impacted the medical and healthcare?
Robotic is a very important area, and Ruby Hall went into robotics really 9 years ago.
Right.
We bought the Da Vinci robot. We were the first to buy the Da Vinci robot in Pune. And we have completed now nearly 800 patients. Now, what is the advantage of robot? Robot is important because the robot goes where the human hand cannot go. That is the way of putting it.
Absolutely.
I mean, the hand cannot go inside and operate a particular area, but the robot can go and operate because it's more flexible.
Correct.
We started robotic surgery in prostate mostly. Initially, it was started for prostatic work.
Okay.
Because if the cancer is still in the prostate, then the robot can go inside the cancer, inside the prostate, and completely remove the cancer as long as it is localized to the prostate.
Okay.
So we can cure the person completely using robotic surgery. Now, if it has already spread, then robot is not that useful.
Okay.
To this.
So it's very precision oriented.
But now robots have been used for abdominal surgery. They can be used for gynec surgery. And they can use for many other surgeries. Because what happens using robotic surgery is that you don't have a big incision.
Right.
You just make 4 holes and you operate through the 4 holes.
Yes.
So the trauma to the patient is not so bad.
Correct.
So that is the main advantage of robot. Quick healing, fast surgery, and less traumatizing. So these are the major advantages. Now Ruby Hall in June will be getting the most advanced robot. We've already bought it. So the old robot will go back to the company and the new robot will come in.
That's going to come to the point. We spoke about using stethoscope. We spoke about 1 CT scan, X-ray machines, to MRIs, to the latest technologies. What do you think, doctor, is the future of technology in healthcare?
See, the future will be, first of all, diagnostic. Very important.
Absolutely.
Now, you talked about MR, you talked about CT scan, we talked about all these new technologies, but there is a new technology also called the PET scan.
Yeah.
Positron emission tomography. What a PET does, it diagnoses early cancer, or if you've got something that you don't know about, you just put the patient in a PET scan, it will come out and it will tell you whether the cancer is there, how much it is there, where it is. And for that you need a digital PET scan. The new modern PET scans are digital. Fortunately, Ruby Hall will have the only digital PET scan in Pune. So we'll be able to pick up microscopic lesions which the others will not be able to pick up. And now we have also started a very important new chapter, and that is called as a cyclotron.
Okay.
Now, what happens? The PET scan needs a cyclotron to run on it.
Okay.
So the ingredient for a PET scan is FDG. FDG is produced by the cyclotron. So far, it was all coming from Bombay, but the half-life gets destroyed on transport. So we have set up the first cyclotron in the whole of India in a hospital.
Oh.
And the first FDG has just come out yesterday. So now we can supply other hospitals to run their PET scans and supply them with FDG.
Right.
So Ruby has gone one step further again. It's a very expensive machine. And it's a machine that you have to protect because it produces radiation.
Right.
So there should not be any radiation leak. So because of that, we have got 2 layers of concrete around the machine.
Oh,
So it has taken us 1.5 years to install the
yes.
cyclotron.
What about cardiac care? What are the new advances and innovations
As
at
far
Ruby
as
Hall?
cardiac care, everyone, it's so simple, angioplasty.
Yeah.
We put in stents. Now we can actually go into the coronary artery and use what is called as OCT. OCT is a machine where you can see inside the artery of the heart whether your stent has been implanted properly or not.
Wow.
So if it has not been implanted, then you go inside again and re-implant the stent or give it higher pressure so that it is properly implanted. We've also bought the cardiac laser, which will be installed in the next 15 days at Ruby Hall. So we will be one of the first few hospitals in India to have a cardiac laser,
Okay.
where we can actually go and burn the tissue that is in the artery causing an obstruction.
Yeah.
So that technology will also
And there's
shortly
cardiac
start.
imaging as well.
The cardiac imaging, of course, we have got stent boost and many other technologies. So one day you're most welcome to come into the cardiac lab and you can see how we do angiography, angioplasty and stenting so that we can get the best long-term results. The philosophy is just don't give short-term results. Use the best quality which is available, and the patient must go home looking at the next 25, 30 years from now once this angioplasty is done. There are a lot of new drugs that have also come out recently which can bring your cholesterol down.
Okay.
If a patient has got a cholesterol of say 500, the normal should be less than 200.
Yeah.
You can give this injection once in 6 months, and with that injection, it costs 1,30,000 or 1,20,000, but it simply melts the cholesterol away.
Oh.
So, and with that, the cholesterol can come down from 400, 500 to 90 or 70, which prevents further coronary artery disease.
So it's not just the machines that
No.
there are
So
drugs that
also the new
also
drugs have
advanced.
come out.
There must have been not technological, but developments and improvements and innovations in terms of practices as well.
Practices, yes, but in pharmacology, there has been a lot of improvement.
Okay.
So and these are all FDA approved drugs. These are not drugs that are not FDA approved drug of United States.
Sure.
So you see there has been a marked improvement over the years in technology of medicine. Not only medicine, it's hospitals, it's drugs,
it's the doctors,
it's the equipment, the doctor's knowledge, the doctor's training.
Everything is
changed. Everything has changed in the last 4 or 5 decades.
Right. And we're talking about metro cities like Pune, Mumbai. But you briefly kind of mentioned, in peripheral areas, in rural areas. How do you think Ruby Hall Clinic can help support patients there?
Yeah, so what we are doing is because we have these 18-20 centers in the peripheral area, every week we send our doctors there to run clinics in these peripheral centers.
Okay.
So they go and visit them. Suppose you take gynecology. So the gynecologist will go there, see the patients, advise them there, and then come back. And I'm talking about a diameter of about 250 kilometers around Pune.
Okay.
So this area we are also covering like a hub and spoke approach.
Yes.
So this has been my philosophy for the last 30, 40 years. I myself used to go every Thursday for the last 30 years, visiting each of these centers once a week.
Oh.
I did it for 30 years, then I stopped 3, 4 years ago. And sometimes I used to also go by train. For example, I used to take the 11 o'clock train to Solapur on a Thursday, reach Solapur by 3 o'clock, start the clinic at 3 o'clock, take the 10 o'clock night train return, come back at 2 o'clock. And I've done this for 30 years. And this is only Solapur. Like that, I have used to do the next Thursday would be Ahmednagar and Beed. Then the next Thursday would be Satara, Karad. The next Thursday would be Nasik and Pune. So you see, Ruby Hall has been built up because of extremely hard work done by my father,
Yeah.
myself, and I hope my children.
Absolutely. I think that sums up our episode for today. When we talk about technological innovations and advancements, we also talk about how to carry forward the legacy. And I think it's happening in the most beautiful way. This podcast is an example of carrying forward the legacy. People should know what we're doing. People should know what needs to be done in the healthcare, and people should be aware of the facilities that are around them. That's why we call this podcast Where You Go First Matters. That's why we call this podcast Where You Go First Matters. And thank you so much, Dr. Parvez. You started this podcast with the most, I think, incredible journey where we begin talking about how we began, why we began, and where we want to go and where we want to take the future.
Thank you very much.
You
Thank
spent a lot of time explaining
Thank you.
everything so beautifully, and I'm sure people watching this, people like me who do not have any medical or technological knowledge, would still be able to take this home and understand what we are doing in terms of the present and the future of medical and healthcare in Pune at Ruby Hall Clinic. Thank you so much joining us, and we will be bringing every week some interesting facts about medical with experts sitting in front of us. Take care of your health.
Thank you.